Dejare, a successful stockbroker in Lagos Central Business District, resides in a luxurious apartment that came with the position in the nicer area of the city. He always takes advantage of the opportunities that come his way. This is evident at work, where he frequently engages in risky trades that ultimately pay off, despite his colleagues' warnings. In addition to his work as a stockbroker, he is also a musician, but he rarely gets gigs. This is Tabisa, a gorgeous real estate agent who is engaged to him. His sister regularly teases him for not getting married to Tabisa right away and for showing up almost late for his brother's surprise homecoming celebration one evening. While speaking with his brother-in-law, he mentioned to DJ, as he is fondly called, of a place called The Basement, a nightclub seeking saxophonist, and gives him their business card, and DJ promised to check them out. The party then surprises his brother, who recently got promoted to a lieutenant commander and is given a hero's welcome while being serenaded to the tune of the national anthem played by DJ. The next day, he visits the nightclub for his audition and is received by a hostile bouncer, Biggie. After numerous saxophonists had auditioned, the manager's expectations were low and he didn't expect better from Dejare, who then played and literally knocked his imaginary hats off. He introduced himself as Oscar and subsequently hired DJ and tells him they have rehearsals the next day. Biggie then congratulates him and offered to buy him a drink at the bar. The following day at rehearsals, the lead vocalist, Angela, comes in late and casually stated her reason before joining the rehearsals. Frank, the coordinator, attempts to introduce her to DJ. She ignores him and instead asks what number they were to play. DJ, who is ashamed, withdraws without saying anything. Angela behaves like a diva, who doesn't like to be shouldered, and accused DJ of it and saying he is playing off-key, but DJ claims that while he may have improvised, he never plays off-key. Then Frank urged him to adhere to the music notation. In spite of his apology, Angela blatantly ignores him. Mr. Odera Kalu, a gangster who owns the basement and a car dealership, walks in that evening during their performance. After the performance, at the bar, Frank reveals to DJ that Odera is Angela's husband and he couldn't hold his disbelief. Since they started off badly, later, DJ attempts to strike a polite discussion with Angela, but she mistakes his efforts for flirtation and laughs at him. Before he could make his case, she is called by Odera and they leave together. On getting home, he is surprised to see his fiancée. Since he has built up tension in his pants, he ignores her questions about his first gig. They start kissing, and without putting on some slow jam, he turns her around aggressively and uses a short time to show her what's what. Surprised by what just happened, she inquires about the unconventional manner in which he made love to her. He lied, saying he is trying to spice things up. Then an argument ensued, prompting him to ask her to leave. The following day, he sends her flowers at work and still goes to apologize since he feels bad about having sex with her while having another person in mind. It is made clear that she planned to notify him the previous night that she would be leaving for Abuja the following day. He apologized some more and blamed it on the new gig, and she cautions him not to get burnt out by it. That evening when Dejare gets home, he is shocked to see Angela waiting outside the elevator. Apparently he's been sending her signals only her could decode. Inside the house, she walks around admiring the apartment, while he fixes them food. She comes up to him, which he declines at first, but later gives in to. Even though Dejare is an adult, he lacks perspective and is unaware of the situation. Given that he is engaged and she is married to a guy who would murder him if he discovered their prior connection, they both decided not to repeat it. Some days later, during rehearsals, DJ gets more than he bargained for as Odera assaults a man in the presence of the band. After Oscar diffuses the situation, DJ threatened to quit, but Frank tells him to stay till the next month. At the back of the club, he unintentionally walked in on Biggie mopping blood off the floor. Seeing this, our protagonist surely will reconsider and finally quit. Well, I hope. The next day at his office, Angela gives him a surprise visit and they go for a ride. He mentions their agreement. She explains they agreed not to sleep with each other again. She tells him Odera's line of work attracts beefs with all kinds of people, hence the incident at the club. When they get to their destination, she tells him how she grew up poor and that despite her intelligence, she had to drop out of school to work as a secretary for Odera at his car showroom. He fell in love with her and 3 weeks later they were married. But it's all mutual agreement, something along the lines of, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, but Odera is a little too kinky, so he uses his fist. He eventually got possessive of her, and she could only leave under the pretense of shopping or sparring appointments. You know, the wonderful things that gets you ready for another ass whooping. She claims she is scared of him and that if he discovers she cheated, he will kill her. He consoles her and later offers her more consolation. However, this time they get to do it in the restroom. Post-coital, DJ joins her in bed Adam style. He inquires why she hasn't left Odera. She tells him of her failed attempts 3 years ago that earned her some more beating and eventually had her in hospital for a month. Her tales get shortened when she gets a call from Mr. Remedy, Odera. She ignores the call, then assures DJ she will get rid of him someday. The next day, while DJ and Angela are performing a duet, his fiancée walks in unknown to him. She watches them and realizes the synergy between them isn't just musical but a match made in bed. After their performance, she and Angela share a brief glance before DJ spots her. When he joins her, she compliments him on how great they sounded, while giving him that look your mummy gives you when she knows you've been a very bad boy. She tells him she wanted to surprise him since she came back early from Abuja when he inquired. She asked him if he has slept with the singer. DJ plays his oblivious card, which she responds with, "I know already, you can admit it, kind of look. Yeah, this one." When she asked again, he denied it, stating she's married to his boss and that he only plays the sax, but she proceeds to leave.
You're not playing sax. You're playing sex.
He dashes after her, pleading nothing happened, but you know women, they have a nose for cheating spouses. She faults him for dragging his fit all this months when he didn't fix a wedding date and making her think he didn't want to get married to her anymore. He lied some more when she asked about the singer. Heartbroken, she tosses his engagement ring back at him, then hops on a waiting vehicle. In his apartment with Angela, he talked about how he had met Tabisa in South Africa while schooling and wasn't even ready for marriage, but when they returned to the country his family just seemed to love her. Just like Angela, he seeks freedom and adventure and now he has his, but because of Odera, she can't have him nor the family she desperately craves for. She mentions that only killing Odera will set her free. He rejects it, citing another way. She then seductively touched him. She kisses his cheek, then does some stuff that should probably get him running. The next scene takes us to his family house. He pleads with his brother to beg Tabisa on his behalf to see him since she respects him. Later on at the basement, Oscar is surprised to see Dejare since it's his off day. Before he could give a response to Oscar, he is distracted by Angela. Oscar calls for his attention. He says he needed to pick up his pay that is due for the next day, which shocks Oscar since he thought DJ is a big stockbroker. After giving him his pay, he compliments him for his duet with Angela and is thankful they are getting along. Otobo, Odera's business partner, breaks in and causes him to step back while attempting to leave. Otobo throws the battered Biggie to the ground and warns Oscar not to move. Apparently, he sent his brother to pick up his money from Odera, and since then, he has vanished, as has Odera, whom Oscar claims traveled. Remember that man Odera assaulted? Yeah, that's Otobo's brother. He threatened to kidnap Angela till he gets his brother and money back. Meanwhile, Angela conceals a knife beneath her skirt. When DJ tries to save Angela, he is shoved aside. When the man turns back to her, she uses the knife to stab his chest. With the distraction, Oscar reaches for his gun, prompting Otobo to leave with his goons. Frank, who has been observing Dejare and Angela, warns him and also informs him of the unknown circumstances that led to the former sax player's disappearance after exhibiting the same behavior he is exhibiting. Biggie then interrupts them to say Odera wanted to see DJ. When they arrived at the car showroom where Odera is supposedly at, Odera tells DJ he knew he has been sleeping with his wife. DJ is stiffened, assuming he's been caught, but gets relieved when Odera, Oscar and Biggie laughed, signaling it's just a joke. But Angela, who is also present, didn't find it funny. He went on to tell DJ how the incident at the club didn't happen and made an analogy of how inside trading is frowned upon at the stock market. He also doesn't condone snitching, as that would earn him a permanent sit in a wheelchair. I mean, that comparison works anyway. DJ understands he is being threatened and agrees. In a fit of rage, DJ drives back home while ruminating what just happened. He stops by the roadside to cool off, but fell asleep and is awakened hours later by a lady of easy virtue. He turned her down when she offered her services and zooms off. Getting home, Angela is waiting again at the elevator. He accused her of being casual with the threat by Odera, and he is taking it seriously since Frank also warned him to stay away from her. Even though she is taking a risk being there, she claims she loves him and with Odera dead they could be together. Thinking she is joking, she tells him she isn't now nor the first time she said it. She then takes his hands and leads him into the apartment. The next morning, while having breakfast, he asked about the former sax player. She says he was a loser who was infatuated by her and got fired for it. She claims she gets different responses from men ranging from infatuation to dominating her and asks which DJ is. He said he just wants to love her. Sometime later, DJ, who had submitted his and Angela's duet without her knowledge, eventually gets a record deal. He tells her excitedly about it, but she isn't thrilled and fakes a smile. Feeling anticlimactic, he wonders, and she explains that singing has always been her dream, but not this far. However, this is significant for him because he is considering early retirement from the stock market. Angela fails to appear on the day they were supposed to sign the contract, and attempts to contact her were futile. Because they are a duo, the deal requires both of them. Without one, they cannot proceed. He goes to the club, frustrated and angry, and finds her smoking while wearing a dark shade. She takes it off and reveals a black eye. She's been beaten again by Odera, who isn't on board with the record deal. When she states she is tired, he agrees to the plan to kill Odera. That evening, while Odera and Angela were leaving the club, from the other side of the parking lot, Dejare spots some gunmen and raises alarm. The masked men shot at Odera, but he found shelter beside a car. After the drive-by shooting, Angela scolded Dejare for raising alarm. Well, if he didn't, more people would have got hurt. She then tells him their plan will take effect on Friday. Due to his stress, at work he loses 4.8 billion naira and is immediately suspended pending an inquiry. Rather than watching pieces of his good life fall apart, he begins to reassemble them, beginning with the Bisa. He gains access to her apartment because he still has her keys. He tells her that they need to talk, but she asked him to leave. His brother then appears downstairs, implying that he has done more than just beg on his behalf. He drops her keys and walks away, betrayed and enraged. His brother catches up with him and tries to explain the situation. Things escalate and they end up fighting, with the Navy man having the upper hand. DJ tries to back out of his plans with Angela, but seeing no other option, she gives him a weapon and instructs him on how to meticulously carry out the plan. That Friday night, it rained as DJ hid in a dark corner, and Angela had already turned off the lights so Odera wouldn't see him coming. Angela draws Odera out to the back, which is the signal DJ needs to strike him. His strike isn't enough to kill Odera, so Angela picks up the weapon and smashed his head several times. His fingers were severed to make it appear like a gang-related murder, which they intend to blame on Otobo. The days that followed were sad. The club was unable to function as they mourned Odera's death, and Oscar simply vanished. To avoid raising suspicions, Dejare and Angela avoid seeing each other until things settle down, at which point they could relocate to Ghana. Two detectives, Annie and Danladi, question him at home, and he answers them without bringing suspicion to himself. Danladi asks for a drink just as they are about to leave, and his partner realizes he is up to no good. He appears to be the type of guy who would press you to reveal the contents of your cupboard. As he appeared to be doing with DJ, observing his response and body language when he asked him if he fancied Angela. DJ tries to conceal it. Dissatisfied, they leave anyway. After removing all of his belongings from the club, he learns from the bartender that Angela has fled with the $5 million that Odera had been keeping for Otobo and is on the run with Oscar, with whom she is having an affair. When he tries to call her, the phone disconnects. Afraid of being manipulated and used as a pawn, he tracks down the former sax player, in the hopes of gaining useful information from him. Angela, like DJ, played the damsel in distress and tricked Odera into putting him in a wheelchair when he refused to kill for her. DJ leaves when he is unable to obtain useful information from him. When he arrives at her house, everything has been cleared out, and he is looking around for the murder weapon when he is startled by Detective Danladi, who was waiting for him with the murder weapon. He discovered a fingerprint on it, which he compared to the one from the cup DJ had given him in his apartment, and it matched. But he isn't putting DJ in jail, he just wants his half of the $5 million. When DJ denies any knowledge of the money, he hits him and gives him until Friday. He goes to Tabisa, who cleanses his wounds, and he tells her everything. She couldn't believe the part he played but helps him anyway. It has come to light that Angela neglected to make her loan payments, which led to the bank foreclosing on her house. However, in order to keep the difference, the intelligent and thoughtful woman is attempting to sell the house for more than is owed. Tabisa's company is in charge of the property sale, so she was able to find a mailbox in Cape Town as the forwarding address. The following day, he boards a flight to South Africa. He locates the mail office, keeping an eye out for Angela from his hiding place, but is unsuccessful the first day. The next day, she appears, and he follows her unnoticed until she reaches a house by the sea. He sneaks up to an open window and finds Odera and Angela. Perturbed by who they killed, he realizes it was all part of a grand plan from the start. Angela and Odera leave briefly, allowing him to enter the house through an unlocked door. He discovers the money along with a flight ticket and 2 passports. Oscar's identity has been stolen by Odera, while Angela goes by a different name. When Angela and Odera returned, they discovered that the money had gone missing and accused each other. Meanwhile, DJ is spying on them from his hiding place. After a while of searching, Odera, who is convinced Angela stole the money, attacks her, but instead trips and falls to his death. Unconcerned about his death, she resumed her search. Her and Dejare's duet begins to play upstairs, and she moves towards the music. When she joins him, DJ turns off the music. She realizes the game is over because she has few options and DJ has her money. She remembers the good times they had and how they were perfect together, but she couldn't let love get in the way of her money. She claimed that because Odera was broke, he duped his partner out of the $5 million deal and had to fake his death to keep the money. As a result, they needed a fall guy and a dead body, which happened to be Oscar's because he has the same build as Odera. She had called him for a quickie that night, but instead started a fight just in time for DJ to strike. She realizes he still has feelings for her and tries to take advantage of it by telling him they could leave with the remaining money, but he pushes her away, tired of her games. He tells her he needs to return the money to the corrupt cop in order to reclaim his life and attempts to leave with it. They fought over the bag, and she stabbed him in the shoulder before fleeing. She couldn't get very far because she had forgotten her car keys. DJ catches up to her and threatens her with a gun but is unable to shoot. She dashes to the edge of the cliff, and they struggle some more before she loses her balance and falls over, but he grabs her hands. She isn't convinced when he tells her that the bag she is carrying is fake and that she should let go of it, and the weight pulls her down and causes her to fall to her death. When he returns to Nigeria, he is picked up by the corrupt cop. DJ shows him the money and he hands him the murder weapon, acknowledging their agreement. He hopes for an exchange but has no idea that the entire experience has inflated DJ's balls as he refuses to be taken advantage of again. He compares their names, stating that Dejare means innocent, and they both laugh. He goes on to say that the cop didn't deserve the money. He grabs the steering wheel, causing the vehicle to flip. He struggles to escape with the money, leaving the cop behind before the car explodes. The movie has been Dejare's narration for the last 3 months as he concludes it. We see him seated with his bandaged hand and leg. He lost his job and had to move back to his family house. His brother now dates Tabisa and the rest of the money he had given to charity. He says he misses Angela sometimes and the movie fades as their duet plays in the background.